Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back again. To my loyal subscribers, I appreciate your love and support. Today we'll be learning how to draft a basic bodice and how to adapt it into a princess dart, a perfect princess dart. First of all, we need some of our basic measurements to start with. We would need our shoulder measurement, bust measurement, waist measurement, half length, nipple to nipple measurement, shoulder to under bust. We need the apex or the bust point measurement as well, and the under bust round, and also the half back measurement. Notice there's a difference between the half front and half back measurement, and that's because of our busts that adds to our front measurement. To take your half back measurements correctly, you start from the nape of your neck all the way to the hollow point at your back. That should give you your accurate half back measurement. This differs from persons to persons, and some people have a difference of even 2, 3, 4 inches between the half front and the half back measurement. Next up, we want to move this measurement to our pattern paper. First of all, I've drawn a rectangle on my pattern paper. And how did I come about this? I used my bust measurement, which is the fullest part of my half length, which is 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 2, because we're drafting this on a half scale. So 36 inches divided by 2 is 18 inches. I also went ahead to add extra 2 inches to it to accommodate my dart and ease. So on this pattern, I have 20 inches this way by 17 inches, which is my half length measurement. So I have 20 inches by 17 inches. I also went ahead to get the middle line, that is divide the 20 inches into 2. So I divided it with a straight line. This is going to serve as our half front, and this is going to be as the back. So this is our front and this is going to be our back. So first of all, we're starting with the front measurement. First measurement we need to get is our neck circumference. And to be able to get a perfect neck depth and neck width, you need to know your bust measurement. For this measurement, we're working with the bust measurement is actually 36. We want to divide 36 by 12. That's the simple formula to get your accurate neck width and neck depth. Not too high, not too low. So 36 divided by 12 will give us 6. 36 divided by 12, sorry, will give us 3 inches. So I'm going to mark on my center front this way, 3 inches this way, and then 3 inches this way. And then I went ahead to join this together with my curve ruler like so. That's how I got my neck measurement. According to our measurement we're working with, the shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I went ahead to measure 8 inches from this center front line, which brought me here. And on that mark, I came down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slant, and I connected this back to my neck. Next up, I need to get the chest measurement. How do we calculate the chest measurements so that we can get a perfect armhole? You divide your bust by 6, and then you would add 1.5. You divide your bust by 6, and then you add 1.5. This is 36 is my bust. 36 divided by 6 would give me 6. If I'm adding 1.5 to that, I will get 7.5. I will get 7.5. So this is what I want to do now. From this shoulder slant, I need to come down by 7.5. Remember, from the shoulder slant. So this is my 7.5, and I want to confirm that I have 8 inches here, because remember that our shoulder measurement was 8. So I'm just confirming. I'm marking it at this 8 points. I came down by 7.5, and I'm just squaring this up to my shoulder measurements like so. That is what I have for my chest line. And I'm also taking my chest measurements across my 7.5 across Note that I'm taking this from the back all the way to the front. I'm taking the exact same thing for the back and for the front. So I'm just extending this line all the way to the back. That is my chest line all the way from the front to the back. Now the next thing I want to do is I also want to create the back, neck and shoulder slant. To create the back, neck and shoulder slants, remember we're still working with the same neck width, which was 3 inches, like this. I have 3 inches, but in this case the neck depth is 1 inch. And then I'm using my curve ruler to curve that out. This way until I get a perfect curve. And yes, that is it. And I also will be taking my 8 inches measurements from here. Remember, like as in the front, we came down by 1 inch, like so. And then we'll connect this together to get our shoulder slant for the back. That is my back shoulder slant. And then we're taking these measurements all the way down. Remember, the chest line cuts across from the front to the back. So I just need to measure my 8 inches here and connect it like so. So that is the back and this is the front. Next up, what I want to do, remember when we were measuring our front and back measurements, there was a difference of 1 inch. The front half length was 17, while the back half length was 16. So we're going to be deducting that 1 inch from the back now. So I'm taking that 1 inch across the back and we'll be ruling this out so that we would factor the difference between our front half length and our back half length as we go along. That's it. That's done. So the next thing we want to do is move back to the front. Back to the front, remember our shoulder to bust point measurements. We want to impute that now. Shoulder to bust point is 10.5. So from this top line, we're measuring 10.5. Like so. And like so. Just to get the line accurate. And then I'll also measure my shoulder to under bust point, which is 14.5. I'm marking it here and here as well. Shoulder to under bust 14.5, and I'll just square out these lines. Our front body is already coming together. Next thing I want to do now is to take my bust measurement and my waist measurement. My bust measurement, according to the measurements we have, is 36. So on my front bodies, on my chest line, I'm supposed to put my bust measurement, which is 36 divided by 4. That would give me 9 inches. I'm adding 0.5 inch ease. So I'm going to be taking 9.5. I'll be connecting this 9.5 inches to my waist measurement like so. And then on my back bodies, I repeated the same thing. But yes, before we continue to the back, I'll be adding first my darts to my front bodies. Remember, my nipple to nipple measurements was 4. So I'll just be taking this 4 inches across like this. And I'll be squaring it up to my chest line. Taking 4 inches, square it up like this. So now I want to work on the armhole of the front bodies. From your chest line, from your chest line, you go up like so by 3 inches. You can also do 2 inches. 2 or 3 inches works perfectly. At this point, I'm coming in by 0.75, and I'll just mark this 0.75. Then I'll be using my armhole curve to get out my perfect armhole, like so. Trying to connect these 3 points together until I get the perfect, yes, I think I have it now. So I'll just connect it like so to get my perfect armhole. Then on the waistline, remember that I marked my nipple to nipple measurement 4 inches across from my bust point all the way to my waistline. It's time to create our dart. Remember that we added 1 inch for that, so we'll now do our dart legs. Half inch here, half inch here. Together will make 1 inch. So I'll be connecting this to my bust point like so. And that's my dart leg done. Remember, there's one last very important thing that we need to do. You remember that there's a difference of 1 inch between our back bodies and our front bodies, and we need to take that difference out on the front bodies so that it can match up, the side seams can match up to the same length. And now we need to take that out. Right here on the bust point, I'll be measuring that 1 inch right here, and I'll be connecting it to my bust points. That is going to be my bust dart, like so. So when we close up this bust dart, we'll eventually have exactly the same measurement for both sides, here and here. Don't cut out on this line yet. Make sure that you close the dart before cutting out so that you don't have any excess shooting off on that side. So now I want to move to the back so we can include our darts on the back. For my back dart, I took 4 inches on the front. So from here, I'll be taking 4 inches. Remember that there was a back slant, so I'm taking it from the back slant. If I take it from the original line, that's 4.5. So I'll just take this 4.5 inches across to my chest line. And then I'll square this out, so. I'm done squaring this out. I'll come down by 1 inch before drawing out my dart leg. Come down by 1 inch, then I'll take my dart measurements of half inch on both sides. Half inch here, half inch here, and I'll connect my dart legs like this. That's it. Now for the back armhole, to complete it, what you want to do is take the measurements of your armhole from here all the way. That's from that point to here. I have 7.5. I need to get half of that, so I'll just fold my tape like this so I don't need to crack my head to get the measurements, and I'll place it down there. I'll mark this out, and on that point I'll come in by 0.5 inches. Like so. And that's how I'll get my back armhole. Connecting these points together. Yes, I have it now. Back armhole done. It's okay to cut out your pattern now. Now I've cut out my back and my front pattern. On my back pattern, I want to show us one last thing. This is my center back. Remember, on this straight line, which is the waistline, I'll be going up at this point, the center back line, by 0.5 inches, just to eliminate every form of excess on my half back, which is a major challenge most dressmakers face. And before I close it, before I shape it out, I would first of all close my darts. I'll be closing my back darts on the dart line, like so. Yes, I've closed it now. I'll be closing it like so, and then out. Now rule out that my measurements. So my ½ inch, I would then connect it to this point after closing my dart. That is like this. I'm hoping we can see that. Yes, like this. I've closed my darts, so I'm connecting that ½ inch mark all the way, and then I'll be cutting out this excess while my dart is closed. Point to note, that should be closed. That's my back bodice done and dusted. So I'm keeping this aside. Remember, for the front bodies, I said that we need to mark out our shoulder dart, our bust dart, which is at this point. So before we cut out this, we need to close our bust dart as well before we cut out the side seam. Like this. Let's close this up like this before cutting out. This is our front bodies now, and this is our back bodies. If we match up the sides, we can see that they match up perfectly now, and that's the importance of closing your side darts on your bust. So this matches up properly when we're sewing, so I can then open out my pattern. So this is my front basic bodice, and this is my back basic bodice. If you're transferring this to fabric, don't forget that we did not add any seam allowances at all. So this is my center front, and this is my center back. When you are placing this on fabric, remember to add all your allowances, like your side seam allowance, your shoulder joining allowance, and all the allowances you need. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you in my next video.